Now it's day 17 of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the severe shelling of several cities continued overnight.
Let's speak to Iuliia Mendel, Ukrainian journalist and former spokesperson for President Zelenskyy in a moment, who's in Kiev. We'll be speaking to her in a second. Obviously, what's been happening in Ukraine has been devastating for everybody to watch, hasn't it? And the bravery of people is just mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're going to speak to Iuliia, who was the former spokesperson for President Zelenskyy. And we need to know, first of all, because obviously it's difficult connecting out there at the moment, are you safe and well, Iuliia?
Safe and well, Iuliia. Hi, thank you for having me. Actually, I am relatively safe, but of course we have air alerts and we live in different conditions right now when almost nothing works and people went to territorial defense units. We have checkpoints, we have a lot of guns, and all Ukraine is united just to win this war. So I'm relatively safe, but every day I'm trying to get in touch with my parents who are stuck in the occupied territory. And to be frank, this is something just that makes me cry every day, because the situation is very sorrowful, and when I see what's going on around my country, I feel really very bad. We need to live with the hope that we will win, but this is very sorrowful that in 21st century, a country with such a large army can just come to the territory of different countries, start invasions, and all these attacks that so much look like a terrorist attack.
Iuliia, we salute and admire your courage and the courage of your fellow Ukrainians and wish you all the best. You were former spokesperson for President Zelenskyy. He's by far and away the most popular politician in the world right now. Have you been surprised with the level of courage and dignity and determination that he's shown, or were those qualities something that you always saw in him?
This is a very good question, in fact. The war actually provided this opportunity for people to see the type of character which is Volodymyr Zelenskyy is. In fact, he was known very simply as a comedian who became a president of the country, but he has a legal background. He is a lawyer by his high education, and he is definitely a very good business manager because he's built here a humor empire. So what I must say is that there is the rise of respect towards the president all over the country, because he definitely didn't leave people when there was this kind of suggestion of evacuation when Russians entered Kiev. He said, let me remind, I don't need a ride, I need weapons, right? The fact is, I was working with him for 2 years.
And
type of behavior and attitude towards risk. Yes, and I saw his type of behavior towards risk all the time. In fact, it's not even about bravery, but he definitely thinks that his leadership of the country is much more important than risk, instinctive self-preservation and any risk that could happen. We were traveling to Donbas zone, partially occupied by Russia 8 years ago, and he never was afraid to go to the parts of shelling. He never was afraid to go to the front lines to show the solidarity with the soldiers who were defending Ukraine. And that was the part of his obligation that he felt as the president. So when there was this really kind suggestion offered to evacuate the president from Kyiv, I knew already it was impossible, even when he kindly declined it. So up to now, President is showing really the leadership that Ukraine needs, because he has united Ukrainians to defend our country, and he has united the whole civilized world around Ukraine, because we understand that we are standing here not just for the territory of post-Soviet states. We are standing here for our independence and for the values of democracy that the world actually established after the World War II.
Iuliia, can I just ask you finally quickly, how do Ukrainians perceive the support that you've received from the United Kingdom? Do you think that the UK have done enough to support you?
United Kingdom is actually valued here very much because United Kingdom appeared to be one of the most reliable partners. What is seen here in Ukraine. First of all, let's be frank, United Kingdom was the first country to provide weaponry to Ukraine when we saw that the invasion was already in the place. Also, Boris Johnson was among all these big leaders, I mean the world leaders who arrived to Ukraine just in few days before invasion started. And that was the first prime minister to come to Ukraine in 16 years. And furthermore, we understand that the United Kingdom is that kind of the state that will not manipulate or doubt, or try to find any kind of bureaucratic mask to figure out different solution. We know that the United Kingdom has the same enemy as us, and we know that definitely United Kingdom is aware of Russian threat very much. So we highly appreciate everything that has been done by the people of the United Kingdom, because it's not only about the politicians. And we understand that if there are any reliable partners, there will be London definitely among them. So very much grateful from Ukrainians for standing with us shoulder to shoulder together against this brutal invasion of Ukraine.
Iuliia Mendel, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning from Ukraine.